Brittany always was the model student. Outstanding grades, lots of extracurriculars, and a part-time job on campus. She maintained this reputation throughout each school year until one day everything changed. With too many commitments on her plate, she was faced with not completing a paper on time. Instead of talking to her instructor and asking for an extension, she did something that ruined her reputation. She plagiarized the paper. Brittany bought a paper online in hopes of passing it off as her own. Although this is a common violation, plagiarism takes many forms. This video will discuss the different types of plagiarism and how to avoid it in your own writing. If you take another person's work, words, or ideas and use them as your own, you're committing plagiarism. Words and ideas are intangible, but they are intellectual property that can be stolen. An author stands to benefit from his or her creation, as do musicians, artists, or inventors. Research assignments involve using other people's words and ideas, but don't worry, as long as you give the original author credit, you are not plagiarizing. The best way to avoid plagiarism is to cite anything you quote, paraphrase, summarize, or refer to in your paper. When you quote a passage word for word, you must use quotation marks around the phrases that are not your own. You also must provide the author's name, the year, and the page number. There are multiple ways to incorporate this information in the quote. Using signal phrases such as according to or the author notes can help you easily transition from quotes to your own words. Even if you rewrite the author's passage in your own words, you must credit the author for their idea. If you're having trouble with paraphrasing, read the portion you want to use and then try writing the idea in your own words without looking at the text. Compare what you wrote to the original source to make sure you changed the wording and grammar enough. Any words or phrases that you didn't change should be placed in quotation marks. Plagiarism can take many forms. In Brittany's case, she cloned a paper by submitting someone else's work as her own. This is the most severe form of plagiarism and unfortunately one of the most common. If Brittany had copied large sections of someone else's work, she would have committed the copy-paste type of plagiarism. This happens when large chunks are copied with few minor changes and sources aren't cited. The other two main types of plagiarism are self-plagiarism and aggregate. If you recycle a paper you wrote from a previous class, make little to no changes, and fail to cite yourself, you actually are plagiarizing yourself. Aggregating, on the other hand, occurs when you properly cite all your sources, but there is little to no original material from you. You already know that correctly citing your sources can help you avoid plagiarism, but what else can you do? While doing your research, save citations as you go. Many databases and citation managers make it easy to organize, save, and export citations for later use. As you're taking notes, use a system to differentiate between the author's words and your own. This could be as simple as color-coding your notes or printing out your source and taking notes directly on it. If you can't remember where you got a certain piece of information, it's best to leave it out of your paper. Lastly, remember to manage your time and avoid the same desperation that led Brittany to plagiarizing. Learn from her mistakes and keep your academic integrity intact.